Hello, my name is Ralf Friedrichs. I'm an addiction recovery coach and the host of the Take Your Life Back Today show. As an addiction recovery coach, I want to share this about substance abuse, and let me be crystal clear to leave an everlasting impact upon you. Just imagine being buried alive. Let's say you're in a coffin, but you know you're not dead. You don't know how to open the coffin and push the enormous weight of the dirt above. You think about giving up and waiting for death to arrive. But you also think about banging on the coffin so that maybe you can unsettle the ground above, and maybe, just maybe, someone might notice the ground moving and start digging their way down to help you. This is what it's like to find yourself at the lowest point of alcohol and drug addiction. You know you need help, you know you can't do it on your own, but you also don't know where to get the help. In reality, there are people probably standing right by your grave mourning your death. You just don't know that. You're just waiting for death to arrive. Usually, though, people don't think about death when they're habitually abusing drugs and alcohol. In order to feed an addiction, you have to be great at repressing the fear of death. I often ask you, my audience, did it ever cross your mind while you were abusing drugs and alcohol that maybe you might take your own life by overdosing? And when you take your own life by overdosing, you're taking something so precious that God created, and you're also taking away from your family. With this, I leave you with one last thought. Don't be that person banging on the coffin lid, hoping that somebody might hear them to get help. Be the person instead that calls me at 844-405-HELP and let me help you take your life back. People like Larry Geis, addiction recovery coach, life coach, 516-458-2741. Larry Geis will help you from your addiction to your recovery, from your low self-esteem to increase your self-esteem, from your depression to a better life. But you need to call him at 516-458-2741. You can Google him at www.odysseyconsultant.org. Larry and I always tell our clients it doesn't matter where you came from. What matters is that you're here. You're seeking help for a better and brighter tomorrow. Reach out to Larry Geis, 516-458-2741. When you speak to Larry, tell him that you heard about him on the Take Your Life Back Today show with me, Ralf Friedrichs. Let Larry Geis help take back your life. GlobalEyeglasses.com. They are focused on saving you money. Folks, I need for you to be able to see my videos the best as possible. So why not go to one of the least expensive online companies for eyeglasses? GlobalEyeglasses.com has over 1,200 frames. Plastic, metal, half frame, foam, full frame, no frame at all. They have lenses that you definitely would find in your local freestanding mom and pop optical stores. Progressives. They have line bifocals, they have transitions, they have photochromatics, polarized lenses, they have UV 400 lenses, they have anti-reflecting coatings, they have scratch coatings. All this is available at globaleyeglasses.com. For the progressive lenses, they have the generic progressives, and then they have the freedom form progressives, which are like the digital ones that you can get. And as far as the bifocals, they have the round with a line, and then they have the line all the way, like a half a moon line. Folks, the great thing is that not only am I your host and an addiction recovery coach, but I am also in the optical field for over 30 years. And this is why I took Global Eyeglasses under my wing for my commercials here, is because I want you to be able to see my videos better. And I believe in their product. I've done intensive research on their product, and their product is good quality at 70% less than your freestanding brick and mortar optical store. Why not go to www.globaleyeglasses.com? Let them focus on saving you money. Today we're going to talk about, I have 16 steps that are alternative to the 12-step program. Let's face it, not all of us found the 12-step program to work. I attended a few classes, or meetings I should say, and found it not to be sufficient for me. For one of the biggest reasons would be it wasn't long enough. I don't find my rehab to only work an hour to an hour and a half a day at a meeting. In the beginning of my recovery, I needed something that was more substantial, lasting much longer. So many therapists and counselors who work in the addiction field, also life coaches, at one point or another found themselves stemming by the challenge by a client who stated, I will not attend this 12-step program. Now, I've been one of those people. They do not work for me, they would say. This has been a dilemma because until recently we have not been able to find many alternatives for us to even refer our clients to. Indeed, 12-step programs have been mainstay of addictions recovery field for many years. In fact, reflected in 12-step philosophy is a brief that those people who do not wish to remain abstinent using those steps are not displaying the willingness to go to lengths. Clients who prefer to find another way often feel that they have been labeled resistant or ungrateful, far from the truth. Matter of fact, let me give you a statistic. People that attend AA in the first year have a 5% success rate. That means 95% of the people that attend the first year do not succeed. As an addiction recovery coach as well as a life coach, I have worked with many clients who have not found the 12-step program to be very helpful. As a recovering addict myself with over 2 years clean and sober, the 12 steps could not save my life when I began my journey of recovery. However, there are many wonderful aspects of the 12-step program, such as the support of the fellowship and sponsors, daily meetings in almost every country in the world, and no requirements for membership other than a desire to stop using alternating drugs, or I should say altering drugs. Programs such as AA and NA help millions of people achieve and maintain sobriety all over the world. I do not question that at all. In the long run, it does work, but in the beginning it doesn't, and not for everyone. What I do question, however, is whether these programs are appropriate for all people in general. Can every addict, alcoholic wanting recovery, either through abstinence or harm reduction, be helped out only by working the 12 steps? Therefore, I have created these 16 steps in conjunction with information I found on the website. These 16 steps are as follows. The first one, we affirm we have the power to take charge of our lives and stop being dependent on substances or other people for our self-esteem and security. Number 2, we became to believe that God, the Goddess, universe, Great Spirit, higher power, awakens the healing wisdom within us when we open ourselves to that power. Number 3, we make a decision to become our authentic selves and trust the healing power of the truth. Number 4, we examine our beliefs, addictions, and dependent behavior in the context of living a hierarchical, spiritual culture. Number 5, we share with another person and the universe all those things inside of us for which we feel shame and guilt. Number 6, we affirm and enjoy our strengths, talents, creativity, striving not to hide these qualities to protect others' egos. Number 7, we become willing to let go of shame, guilt, and any other behavior that keeps us from loving ourselves and other folks. Number 8, we make a list of people we have harmed and people who have harmed us and take steps to clear our negative energy by making amends and sharing our grievances in a respectful way. Number 9, we express love, gratitude to others, and increasingly appreciate the wonder of life and the blessings we do have. Number 10, we continue to trust our reality and daily affirm that we see what we see, we know what we know, we feel what we feel. Number 11, we promptly acknowledge our mistakes and make amends when appropriate, but we do not cover up, analyze, or take responsibility for the shortcomings of others. Number 12, we seek out situations, jobs, people that affirm our intelligence, perceptions, and self-worth, and avoid situations of people who are hurtful, harmful, demeaning to us. Number 13, so now we've already exceeded the 12-step program. Here's number 13. We take steps to heal our physical bodies, organize our lives, and reduce stress and have fun doing it. Number 14, we seek to find our inward calling and develop the will and wisdom to follow it. Number 15, we accept the ups, the downs of life as natural events and can be used as lessons in our growth. And number 16, step number 16, We grow in awareness that we are interrelated with all living things, and we contribute to restoring peace and balance on this planet. Folks, these are 16 alternative steps to the 12-step program. There are many therapists and counselors who have run into clients who have said, listen, the 12-step program didn't work for me. I am one of those people. I will tell you this briefly, that my first meeting I went to, I felt so isolated. I sat in the front. I looked towards my left, a group of people, and behind me, a group of people, way behind me. All sitting in little groups, whispering to each other, smiling, and I felt a little alienated. And I'll tell you why. Because when someone new comes to an AA meeting, they should be welcomed. They should be put right within the group that's sitting by themselves, not being in the front. And if you do see someone in the front, if somebody's watching me right now that goes to AA, if you see somebody that comes in that's brand new and it just sits in the front, call them to the back. Another reason was that I needed to be more actively involved, and I felt that the 1 to 1.5 hours a day just wasn't cutting it for me. I didn't want to hear other people's story, how they relapsed last week, but they just brought themselves 4 days back. For me, that is not allowable or tolerable. Our goal as people in recovery should be no drinking, no drugging, no exceptions. There are exceptions when somebody does make a mistake. That shouldn't be part of your daily routine where you could just say, oh, gee, I messed up, let me continue. As an addiction recovery coach, as well as a life coach, I have worked with many clients who have found the 12-step program model not helpful. But then there are some that have found it to be helpful. As a recovering addict myself with 2 years plus clean and sober, I found that the aspects of the 12-step program, such as the support, the fellowship, and the sponsors, were very helpful. But what's not helpful is that it needs to be longer. What's not helpful is that you or the new people seem to be isolated. This is what I do question, however, is whether these programs are appropriate for all people. I mean all people. Can every addict and alcoholic wanting recovery, either through abstinence or harm reduction, be helped by working the 12 steps? And if your answer is no, listen to these 16 steps real quick. We affirm that we have the power to take charge of our lives and stop being dependent on substances or people for our self-esteem and security. Number 2, we become to believe that God, the Goddess, universe, Great Spirit, higher power awakens the healing wisdom within us. We open ourselves to the power. Number 3, we make a decision to become our authentic selves and trust the healing power of the truth. Number 4, we examine our beliefs, addictions, and dependent behavior in the context of living a hierarchical and patriarchal culture. Number 5, we share with another person and the universe all those things inside of us that we feel shame and guilt. Number 6, we affirm and enjoy our strengths, talents, and creativity, striving not to hide these qualities to protect others' egos. Number 7, we become willing to let go of shame, guilt, and other behavior that keeps us from loving ourselves and others. Number 8, we make a list of people we have harmed and people who have harmed us, and we take steps to clear out negative energy by making amends and sharing our grievances in a respectful way. Number 9, we express love and gratitude towards others and increasingly appreciate the wonder of life and the blessings we do have. Number 10, we continue to trust our reality and daily affirm that we see what we see when we know what we know, and we feel what we feel. Number 11, we promptly acknowledge our mistakes and make amends when appropriate, but we do not cover up, analyze, or take responsibility for shortcomings of other people. Number 12, we seek our situations, jobs, and people that affirm our intelligence, perceptions, and self-worth, and avoid situations of people who are hurtful, harmful, or demeaning to us. Number 13, we take steps to heal our physical bodies, organize our lives, reduce stress, and have fun. Number 14, we seek to find our inward calling and develop the will and wisdom to follow it. Number 15, we accept the ups and downs of life as natural events that can be used as lessons in our growth. And last but not least, of the 16 steps as an alternative to the 12-step program is we grow in awareness that we are interrelated with all living things and we contribute to restoring peace and balance on the planet. These are the 16 steps, an alternative to this 12-step program. Folks, there are millions of people that have used 12-step program. I am not knocking it. I am just merely pointing out an alternative way. The 12-step program works for many, many people. It does have a success rate of 5% in the first year. And I can almost guarantee you the reason it fails 95% of the time in the first year is because people are just not comfortable in the beginning, like I wasn't. Going into a classroom atmosphere, sitting by yourself, being, I felt at least, being looked at by other people who were sitting in the back, giggling and smirking and smiling. People eventually, after 1 or 2 meetings, or in my case 4 meetings, don't come back, hence contributing to the failure rate. If you have 100 people that show up the first day, second day they're 90, third day 70, fourth day 30, and then after 1 week you have 5%. There is your 95% failure rate due to people feeling uncomfortable, people not getting anything out of it. AA needs to be making it more exciting in the beginning for newcomers. Even if you just have AA meetings just for newcomers and leave the veterans out of it. I'm sure something like that can be designed. I am not here to knock AA. I am not here to restructure AA. I am here to tell you that there are alternative steps. Now, those 16 steps that we just read, some of those steps I've worked into my own method. My own method is, it's called making a commitment to myself to be sober, to live in recovery, and to seek my higher power during my recovery. That is my method. My method is each and every day waking up sober, living a sober life, dealing with topics that I bring awareness to you, my audience, about sobriety, about drug addiction, alcohol addiction, through my videos, through 10 hours a day of working on material and production and producing and directing. I get my instant gratification of rehab, instant gratification of living a sober life. Now, my method works for me. Doesn't necessarily mean it'll work for you. AA didn't work for me. Doesn't necessarily mean it won't work for you. Those 16 steps might work for you. Doesn't mean it will work for everybody. All I'm trying to say is whatever works for you. The ultimate goal at the end of the day is your sobriety. Is you living a recovered life. Each and every day is a battle, 24 hours at a time. Never expect to plan on a week's being sober. Plan on each and every day going through 24 hours of sobriety. And if 24 hours is too much for you to handle, break it into 3 8-hour shifts. But either way, a sober life promises a better tomorrow. If you need copies of these 16 steps, please text me at 631-599-0218. I'd be more than happy to email it to you. In the meantime, I hope wherever you're watching me, you have a great day. I hope wherever you're watching me that you have a sober rest of your life. And remember, if you think positive, positive things will happen, and may God bless you.